Hello everyone, this is class number 24. Today we are going to learn about while and do while loop in loop or iteration. As I said in previous class, I divide this class into 5 classes. Today is the second class of total those 5 classes. In previous class, I already discussed about for loop. This class is for while and do while loop. So welcome to Classroom Computer. Let's start. If you watched the previous class for loop, then I think you are familiar with this tree. Let's discuss about this tree on how a loop is executed or the mechanism of the loop. We can divide the loop into 2 categories: entry control loop and exit control loop. In this entry control loop or top tested loop or pre-tested loop, the loop condition is tested before entering into the loop. If the test condition evaluated to true, then loop body is executed. The loops belong from these categories are for loop and while loop. But there are some differences between them. For loop used for fixed number of iteration. That means we know how many iterations required for achieving the required answer. Next, while loop is for non-fixed iteration. While loop belongs from this category. That doesn't mean that while is not used for fixed number of iteration. Yes, we can use while loop for fixed number of iteration. Just like if we put the initialization part of for loop before the loop start and put the updation part of the for loop inside the loop body and make the for loop with only the condition checking part inside the loop head, then we can also exercise a for loop with program for unknown number of iteration. But normally for unknown number of iteration we use while loop from entry control loop. The second type of loop is exit control loop. The exit control loop known as bottom tested loop or post tested loop. This bottom tested loop first execute the loop body, then condition part at the end. Do while loop came from this category. This type of loop is useful when you want to execute the body of loop at least once irrespective of test condition evaluation, such as for displaying menu option. Today we are going to learn about both of them, while loop and do while loop. At first, the while loop, simple loop, just the expression, and after that the body of loop. When the loop body contains single statement, then you can write it as it is. But when the loop body contains multiple statement, that means more than one statement, then you have to enclose them within curly bracket or second brackets. The loop iterates while the expression evaluates to true. When the expression becomes false, the loop control passes to the line after the loop body code. Let's discuss a program with while loop. Then it will be more clear to all of you. Here is the program. We already worked out this program with for loop in previous class, sum of 100 natural numbers. This program is a sum of series, like you can see 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 up to 100. If you take the last value from user, here it is a constant 100, then this program can work for any valid input. The loop is something like that while I less than equals to 100. Look one thing, by default the while loop doesn't contain any initialization or updation part, but you have to initialize the control variable and you have to update it, the control variable, in the iteration. Let me show how. Look at this code. Here I is the control variable and you have to initialize the control variable before the loop start. So this is the initialization part of the loop. Next, the test expression part. Here the condition is I less than equals to 100. That means whenever the value of I less than or equal to 100, the body of loop will execute. Whenever the value of I exceeds 100, then loop will break and go to the statement written after this bracket. That means statement written after the body of loop. Next, go to the body of loop. The body of loop of a while loop contains two parts. One of them is updation part. In this part, the loop control variable should update in each iteration. If you not update the control variable, then a normal loop will turn to an infinite loop. Look at this loop. If I erase I equals to I plus 1 line from the loop body, then value of I never reach to 100 and this loop will run for infinity times. So you should update the control variable in loop body for while loop. The another line is sum equals to sum plus I. Assume we declare the sum as an integer variable before starting this loop. That means here the loop body works for calculating the sum of control variables and update the control variables. In some program you can see the no updation of control variable. In that case we use break statement to go outside the loop body. I will come into this topic break statement in next video. Now see the whole program. Here at first I declare three integers I, n and sum. In this declaration statement I also initialize I by 1 and sum by 0. Next, creating an object of scanner class named sc. Next, message in print statement, enter n. In my program, the series was sum of 100 natural numbers, so the value of n is here is 100. In this case, we are taking input for the variable n from user. The loop I already discussed, so after this loop, there is a print statement which print the value of sum. Let's discuss another program in while loop. The program is sum of the digit of a number. That means if I give 153 as input, then it will show me the sum of 1 plus 5 plus 3, which is 9 in this case. Let's see the program. Here is the program. You can see it here. This is the total program. I'm going to copy paste this program code in a slide. Here is the total program code. Three integer variables are here, num, x and sum. And I also initialize the variable sum with 0 here. I am going to discuss this program from here, num equals to sc.nextInt, because I think you know the meaning of these two previous lines. The first one is for the declaration of an object of scanner class and the second one just a print statement, enter the number. Here num contains the user input. Now num is 153, assume. The condition is here num not equals to 0. Now the condition is true because the value of num is 153. So the control goes inside the loop body. Here the first statement is x equals to num %10. If we divide any number by 10, then remainder will be the last digit of that number. Through this process, you can extract the last digit of any integer variable or number. If you want to extract last two digits of a number, then divide the number by 100 and take the remainder. Very easy. The number of digits you want to extract equals to divide the number by 1, then that number of 0 and take the remainder. Here we want to extract single digit, so we write num %10. In case of 53, now the value of x is 3. In next statement, it's sum equals to sum plus x. The previous value of sum is 0 because we initialize the variable sum with 0 here. So it's now 0 plus 3 equals to 3. Next statement is num equals to num by 10. This is an interesting statement. Why? Let's explain. Num is an integer variable. 153. So 153 by 10 equals to 15.3. But as I said, num is an integer variable, so the num ignore the fractional part 0.3 and it will store only 15. The loop will now run for next iteration. The condition is same, num not equals to 0. So the new value of num is 15. So here 15 not equals to 0, the condition is true. So the control goes inside the loop body. Here x equals to num %10. Now the num is 15, so the value of x is 5. In next statement, sum equals to sum plus x. The previous value of sum is 3. So it's now 3 plus 5, 8. Next, num equals to num by 10. So it's 1.5 ignored. So the value of num is 1 now. The loop will go for the next iteration and now it's 1 not equals to 0 because the new value of num is 1. That's true. So the control goes inside the loop body. Now at first x equals to 1, the sum equals to 8 plus 1, 9 and the num equals to 0 because 1 by 10 equals to 0.1. 0.1 is ignored because it's an integer variable. So the value of num is 0 now. Now the control goes to while again. It's now 0 not equals to 0. The condition is not true. So the control jump to the statement written after the loop body, which is System.out.println, and it will print the value of sum. Let's see the output. Enter the number. I am entering 153. Sum is 9. Here one thing, this loop will iterate 3 times, but the loop head while num not equals to 0 works 4 times. 3 times for true and 1 time for false. Just like the for loop I discussed in previous class. This type of loop is called empty loop because this loop doesn't contain any loop body, only single semicolon. Look, here wait is a long type variable. Wait is a long type variable. This type of loop sometimes called delay loop. What is delay loop? Let's see a modified version of this program. Here is a program. Here I write while loop 2 times. Before the first while loop I print 1. After the first loop I print 2. And next same while loop again. And after that I print 3. Let's see the output of this program. This program at first print 1. After that this program print 2 and 3. But 1 or 2 seconds time taken by the loop. This delay is for the loop because in this loop the wait variable runs for 1 to 100 crores. It takes 1 or 2 seconds. That's why this loop is called delay loop. This type of loop is very useful for pausing a program for some seconds. When you want to flash a message in your program, you can use this type of loop. Let's discuss another variation of for loop. This is a finite loop. Here I use second bracket or curly bracket just because the loop body contains more than one line. But if I erase those 2 curly brackets, that means by default this loop consider only one line, which is sum equals to sum plus I as a loop body. That also means the updation part of control variable is no longer a part of loop body now. So this loop will run for infinity times. This is an infinite loop. Next come to the next loop for today, which is do while loop. The last 2 loops, for and while, both are entry control loop. In for and while, the conditional part executed at the beginning of the loop before executing the loop body. If the text expression evaluated to false, then the loop will never execute. But in some situation, it is wanted that loop body is executed at least once, no matter what the initial state of the test condition or test expression is. In such case, we use do while loop. Here is the syntax of do while loop. The statements, after that the expression and a semicolon at the end. The brackets are not necessary when the loop body contains a single line. So, here test expression evaluated at end. The test expression evaluated false, then loop body evaluated at least once because the test expression situated after the loop body, and it's an exit control loop because the control situated at the exit point of the loop. Let's see the question. Write a menu driven program to calculate area or perimeter of a rectangle. Menu driven program means a program which gives option to choose among some option for user. Here is the total program. This is the program. So at first the print statement that will show you the option 1 for area, 2 for perimeter, 3 for repeat this message, and any other thing for exit. You can do this program with switch case also. I am going to show you this program with if else. Then control goes to the first if. Here we calculate area, taking length and breadth from the user, and then calculate the area and put it into another variable answer ans, and after that I print the answer. If user give 2, then this control goes here. If I equals to 2, then it will also take the length and breadth from user, store it, and going to store into two variables n1 and n2, and after that I calculate the answer, the perimeter, which is 2 into n plus n2, and after that I print the perimeter. Here is all the closing second bracket, closing curly bracket for if. After that, enter 3 for repeat this program. I equals to 3. Look, after this, the do while loop body ends, and I write while I equals to 3. That means if the value of I is 3, then control goes to up here, do, and print this statement again, print statement again. Here you can see the expression checks at the end of the loop, and the loop iterate at least one time before the expression check. So that is do while loop. Let's see the output. Enter 1 for area, 2 for perimeter, and 3 for repeat this message. Look, you have to print this menu if your condition is true or false, if the expression evaluates to true or false, irrespective of. So I write 1, the length of rectangle 12, breadth is 21, and here is the area is 252. Enter 3 for repeat this program. If I put 3, then see this message again. Then it's end of this program. Look, this is the program code. This is the do and this is while. If user give input 3, then control jump to this line do. Let's see some differences between entry control loop and exit control loop. In entry control loop, if the condition is false, then loop body will not execute, but the exit control loop, if the condition is false, then the loop body will execute at least one time. We already see this thing few minutes before in do while loop. The entry control loop, you have to write the condition at the beginning of the loop before the body of loop, but in exit control loop you have to write the condition at the end of loop after the body of loop. You can see this in do while loop, the syntax and the program. Now conversion between three loops. Here I use different colors for different parts of the loop, but same color for the same parts. In for loop, initialization expression is inside the loop head at the beginning, but in while and do while loop, this initialization expression should be right before the loop start, but not at the loop head or inside the loop. Test expression and body of loop same for everyone, all loops, all three loops. But in case of update expression in for loop, it's situated inside the loop head. But in while and do while loop, it writes inside the loop body. Now you can compare these three program code for three types of loop. At first, look at the for loop. Here I equals to 1 situated at the head of the loop for loop. But in case of while loop and do while loop, I equals to 1 situated at the outside of the loop before the beginning of the loop. The test expression same for everyone. In for loop and while loop, it situated at the head of the loop, but in case of do while loop, just for it's an exit control loop, this condition is at the end of the loop. The last is for the updation. Here it's in the loop head for loop, but in case of while loop and do while loop, this updation is inside the while loop and do while loop body. So by help of this code, you can convert a program code from one type of loop to another type of loop. So that's it for today. In next class, I will discuss about nested loop, jump statement and some theory questions. So if you like this video, then please hit on the like button and subscribe my channel. If you have some question or any queries, then please write in comment or mail me. I will answer those questions for sure. Thanks for watching and keep learning.